So let's start in Baton Rouge.
Start
Brian
Baton
Kelly
Rouge.
can talk in whatever accent he wants now.
He can dance however he wants now.
He can have
doesn't matter.
Anybody's in his family.
His family got a lot bigger tonight.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the correct way to pronounce it. Talk about the Stones, man. The Stones.
Wow. And you were texting me as they're going for two.
I didn't know if it was good or not.
And I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue. Now, I will say, Jaden Daniels scored so easily on that first play from overtime. I get feeling confident that he can run the ball in if something breaks down. Turned out nothing broke down. The play they ran to Mason Taylor was perfect. How about Mason Taylor? True freshman. Now, granted, dad is Jason Taylor. Mom is Zach Thomas's sister. So lots of good football genes in this guy.
I think you're guaranteed to be good at football when those are your numbers.
But I mean, unbelievable touchdown catch in the fourth quarter by him. And then
great play design too. You know what I was thinking about as they lined up for that 2-point conversion? I kept thinking about, remember that video that they released of Nick Saban breaking down Texas A&M's final play of the game?
Yes.
And how perfectly diagrammed Alabama had that play to make sure that I was like, Nick Saban's going to do it again. Like I thought, like there's no way that Alabama's going to.
That was essentially that play too, because that's what Texas A&M was trying to do, because they had shut off everything else. They were pushing everything to that side.
Basically?
Everybody has that general concept,
the central design in their playbook, and it's like such a bold strategy to kind of go with the same design that failed earlier in the year, and it wasn't even close to failing this time. The guy was wide open, and he has a very good football family. You can't let that guy run wild. But I thought that I've such a hard way of processing when to go for two, because they say if you're the worst team, go for two. But LSU might not be the worst team, and they were also at home. I guess it doesn't matter. You're confident in your team. You send your team out there, and I'll never bag on a coach for betting on his guys.
Yeah, I think it's a gut thing, and you're feeling very confident in your offense. Mississippi State wins, by the way. So Auburn, almost an incredible comeback. They were down 21 at one point. Carnell Cadillac Williams, coaching debut. He did a hell of a job. They should not have been in this game this long. So
yeah,
that's pretty incredible. But congratulations to Mississippi State. You get the number one team in the country next week. Georgia's coming. But this is the LSU decision to go for two, I was fine with, just because the way the game was going. I felt very confident in Jaden Daniels. And I texted you before the final Alabama drive in regulation, where I said, there is no quarterback I am more confident in this situation than Bryce Young.
Yep.
And sure enough, he took him down. They kick a field goal. It was not the prettiest field goal, but they get it in there. And I just assumed Bryce is going to take him to victory in overtime. But when Daniels scored on the first play of LSU's overtime possession, you're like, oh, okay.
With ease.
Yes, they could not get him. They struggled to get him down all night. And this is what we talked about. Was it a mirage that their offense looked better against Florida and Ole Miss because Florida and Ole Miss's defenses aren't good? Or were they figuring things out while playing less challenging competition? And I think the answer is probably choice B.
Yeah. Who's the biggest winner of the day? Like, is Georgia just the biggest winner because they beat Tennessee at home and then they don't have to play Alabama now?
They probably don't. That's the next thing I want to talk about. Do we think LSU is going to win out? Arkansas and Texas A&M.
I think they're going to. Yeah.
We think they're going to win out. Okay. Because that's the thing. Are they going to? If they win out, they're playing Georgia for the SEC championship. Now, we did not include LSU in our Lucky 13 last week of the teams that we thought could make the playoff, but we had the caveat: if they beat Alabama and they're the presumptive SEC West champ,
they're back in. Yeah.
They're back in. So they're in. Illinois is out. They're in.
Oh boy. Yeah. And like, I don't even want to think about the idea of like, if LSU slips up and then Alabama somehow sneaks their way into the SEC championship game and then beats Georgia, they're in. Well, so I guess technically speaking, Alabama's not out.
Alabama's got to go to Oxford and play an Ole Miss team coming off an open date.
Yeah.
It ain't a given that Alabama's going to win next week.
Well, it's like, listen, whatever we said about Brian Kelly, successful first year. You beat Alabama at home. I don't care what Alabama it is. You put yourself in a position where you're probably hugging on the top 5 of the second edition of the playoff rankings. You did what you were supposed to do in a year. And it makes me think that, hey, like you said, everybody always talks about fit. Winning is the best fit.
Yep.
It makes me think that he has a real shot there to win a national championship in the next 4 or 5 years. So
remember, Ari, LSU has to lose twice. For Alabama.
Oh, Alabama's out. Yeah. I thought it was one time.
Yeah. No, their second loss or their other loss is to Florida State. So that's not a conference loss. That doesn't count. And
yes, that's right.
So they have the head-to-head against Alabama. Well, I guess, yeah, because they need Alabama to beat Ole Miss. They don't need any sort of three-way tie situation.
Yeah. So the question that I guess we have to answer here is, what is your diagnosis for what's wrong with them this year?
With Alabama?
Yeah.
The lack dynamic receivers that can separate. I think we've seen that enough to know that that's a problem. And then I don't know that they cover all that well. Yeah. I think a pass rush isn't a problem. Their pass rush is very good, but I don't know that they cover that well.
Yeah, I mean, they got a great running back. Offensive lines, I thought, kind of got beat up a little bit, to be honest. I thought LSU's defensive line was nasty.
Listen, Ali Gay and Ojulari have been good all year. Imagine if Mason Smith had been playing all year.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's the thing.
Didn't injure himself on the dumbest possible way. Not that he's dumb, that it's just a freak accident. Yeah, just awful.
And Harold Perkins is that dude.
He might be a top 5 player in the entire sport right now.
Yes. Like that's literally one of those. I'm going to ask Dane Brugler. Dane never likes it when I ask him about guys that aren't draft eligible. But I'm going to be like, where would Harold Perkins get drafted this year?
Yeah, wait, 6 years from now, you'll be asking him about high school seniors on the draft board. It always is scooting up year by year as the recruiting calendar scoots up. But man, that guy's special.